Welcome to today's webinar, our monthly webinar about the most frequently asked questions answered by Dlubal support team. It's only a short webinar. Maybe it takes half an hour. My name is Andreas Hörold. I'm responsible for marketing and public relations in the company Dlubal Software. For instance, the Dlubal website, the German and English webinars, newsletters, customer projects, and so on. I will be the moderator and presenter today, and my colleague Markus will support me.
Hello, my name is Markus Baumgartner. I'm responsible for customer support and frequently asked questions on our website. And today I will help Andreas to answer your questions during this webinar.
Okay, thank you. Then we can switch off our webcams so that the attendees can see the full screen. For the attendees who participate the first time, you've got a control panel on the right side of your screen. You can show that with that arrow here, and then you can enter a question here, and Markus will answer you. If you don't get an answer during the webinar, maybe there are too much or too many questions, then you will get an email afterwards. Or you can write an email afterwards and get an email afterwards. Sorry, my fault. So then we turn to the program Artem 6, and the first question that we got often, I've selected a sub-area of my model and only the selected area is shown. Can I subsequently adjust the visibility to that only the hidden area becomes visible? Now that's quite easy. Let's go to the views navigator. I have highlighted the mouse a little bit that you can follow the mouse. Then you can, for example, search for surfaces by thickness, and can select only the surfaces with a thickness of 200 millimeters. Then the staircase cores are visible and the other parts of the structure are not visible. And with that function, show reverse visibility, you can show the other objects and not the staircase cores anymore. Now there are also other functions, show previous visibility, for example. Then you can cancel the visibility mode and select anything and say visibility by selected objects. Then, for example, reverse and so on. Okay, that should be all to that question. We turn to the next question. What is the fastest way to get to TeamViewer for an immediate link to the support team? You can go to the help in the menu, and there's a button, TeamViewer Quick Support. And this way, customers who purchase the Service Contract Pro can quickly and easily get support via video call. So that's in German. I can press OK. That's all to that question. Then we turn to the next question. I switch the model. And the question is, how can I consider sections reduction or perforations in a cross section? Now, there are different ways. You can select, for example, that member and can create, or you can press divide member, generate surfaces from member, for example, then create an opening and so on. But there's a much easier way. I select the member with the right, and click the right button, then members, edit. So, and where is the member type surface model? The surface model member type is available for such applications. It can be integrated into the model like any other member, and it offers all the options of a surface model that I showed you previously. The program makes or creates a surface model in the background, for example. So then let's do that. And you can, that was the question, how can you do perforations or member openings? You can select member openings. So then there's a new dialog, member openings, and let's create a new member opening. Then there are different reduction types, rectangle opening, you can see that in the preview, circle openings, and hexagonal openings. So let's show that on rectangle opening. We can switch the visibility mode. I enter 200 by 200 millimeters, and the distance can be 1000 millimeters. In the center, in the center is okay. I have to enter the distance here, sorry. That's the Z axis. If you want to move the opening in the web. So that's correct. So now you could also move or I say 20 millimeters, that you can see what has been changed. Okay. So, and of course you can define more than one opening. Then you click multiple. For example, let's do 4 with an offset of 500 millimeters. Okay. So you can increase the opening. Okay. All is possible. I now do a calculation only with one opening. Okay. Okay. So before I do the calculation, I can show you that button here right above, display surface model. And now you can see the surface model. The flange is a surface, or the flange is divided, and there are 2 surfaces, one surface for the web and so on. And for a correct connection with the column members, where are rigid members? Okay, let's run the calculation. So now you can see the internal forces. For example, that are the stresses. I show you which stresses are shown. Equivalent stresses, Van Mieses. Okay. So you can also select the deformation, and you can see that the cross section is a little bit weak because of the opening. So that's the global deformation. Okay, I think yeah, good feature. Let's turn to the next model and the next question. The question is, for the result documentation, I would like to see the vertical line supports results clearly displayed in the plan view. Which setting do I have to select? So let's show the support reactions. And if you rotate the model, you can see the support reactions of the line supports. But how can we display it in this view? So let's turn to the navigator results. Then you can find the button support reactions, and you can draw them in X-Y plane. And that's very good for the documentation. Another feature is you can smooth the distribution. Yeah, for example, like this. So let's print that in the printout report. Before I do that, I decrease the display of the line supports. Okay, it's quite easy. So and then I print the graphics or that graphic in the printout report. You can see the preview. I press or select window filling. I can also rotate it. Okay, so and that's a quite good documentation. So, okay, that's all to that question. I turn to the next model. So, and the question is, for what purposes can I use the truss, in brackets only n, member type? So those members currently are trusses. If I double click on one truss, I can see the member types, and there are also the truss only n. So, and imagine for this structure here that it is covered with glass, for example, and the glass elements, such elements, for example, are supported on the nodes only by point fittings, in such nodes here. And how do you intend to apply complex wind loads or also other loads? I don't created glass here. I created a surface. I can double click on it. Called load transfer. But it could be glass as well. And if you want to consider point selected glass, then such a truss only n member type is very helpful. So let's do that on an example. I create a load. I think it's better to understand when you see it. I create a new surface load. For example, 1 kilonewton per square meter. Okay, on all surfaces, all the load transfer surfaces. So, and I calculate all. So I switch off the loads and I show the wireframe model and internal forces my, and you can see the truss members has got a bending moment. And because of his self weight and the load from the load transfer surface, and we don't want that those loads are considered for the diagonal members and the horizontal members. So, and that's why we use the member only N truss. So I go to the web navigator views, then members by section, and I select only these members. So only these members are shown. Maybe it's better with that view here, transparent model. I double click on one member when all are selected, and I select the truss only N. And by the definition, a truss member only N has only a longitudinal stiffness A multiplied by E, and moment hinges are arranged at the member ends. You will see the effect after the calculation. I run the calculation again. So, okay. Then for this member type corresponding to the length of the member, the loads are introduced only at the nodal points of the member. Almost like a nodal load. Now you can see there are no bending moments, only N forces. That would be one example where you can use the member type truss only N. Only N, not N. Okay, then we turn to the next model and the next question. A simple cantilever beam. The steel design was already performed, only with one nodal load here. Okay, and you can see the results. I can show the results. Must go to the ultimate limit state. Sorry. Okay, steel design. Okay, so and you can see the design ratio by 0.4, and we would like to optimize that cross section. It's an HE 500E. I turn to the input data. So, and then under the dialog sections, where's the option use other section for design. So, and I can check optimize current row. Then I do the calculation again, only the steel design with the internal forces of the RFEM model. And now you can see a maximum design ratio of 80 or 0.87 and utilization of 87%. So, and now we can do following. We go back to the input data and sections, and with a right click we can export the section to RFEM. That also the new, for example, self weight and so on is considered, the other stiffness, and we have to recalculate all again. go back to the steel design. Yeah, now the lower self-weight is considered, and you can see utilization of 73%. The described cross-section optimization only applies to standardized cross-sections. For forward optimization, we recommend the optimization and cost CO2 emission estimation add-on. I can show the add-on. The base data, add-ons, I mean that add-on. We already presented several webinars about this add-on. Just go to our webinar website, enter optimization in the search box, and you will find several webinars about that. Okay, then we turn to the next model, the last model and the last question for today. Actually the model doesn't matter. The question is, what is the meaning of the differently action type when defining action categories? Let's go to the load cases and combinations by right click. So I created several load cases, self-weight, snow to wind load cases, and 5 imposed load cases. They are summarized in actions. So permanent, and there's the action type simultaneously. All load cases of the action can be combined as required for this action type, and they can occur in one combination at the same time, but they do not have to. So that is snow. Alternatively, wind also alternatively. It's a good example. The 2 wind load cases are assigned, and for this action type is only one of the actions load cases can be effective. For example, for the different directions of the wind load case, or in this case with full suction, or with only the wind in X. Okay, so and differently means it's possible to define differentiated relations between the load case and action. With this option, an additional column appears in the load case and action section of dialog box. Sorry, I would like to do that or show that for the imposed load. If I select differently, there's a new column. But to understand it better, let's check here simultaneously. I deselect these actions, snow and wind, for a better overview. So, and I create the load combinations. I increase the window a little bit. And you can see, for example, the load case 9 imposed load is in this combination. Then 9 plus 10, 9 plus 10 plus 11, and so on. All load cases can be in one load combination if you check simultaneously. So let's go back to the actions. We try the action type differently. As I said, a new column is here. And if load cases are not assigned to the group, when here is a minus, the simultaneous action type applies to these load cases, both among themselves and in relation to the groups. So, but I can put them in different groups. For example, 1, 1, 1, 1. All of them are in one group, and load case 13 is in group 2. And all load cases in one group acting alternatively. Let's test this. Load combinations. Now you can see load case 9 alone, or with the load case number 1 self-weight. But for this combination, load case 9 and 13, 10 alone, 10 with 13. Load cases 9 to 12 are not combined with each other because we are in one group. I hope that was understandable. Okay, that should be all for the presentation. Maybe I can show you where you can find the recording and so on. Before I do that, I would like to give you a hint. Just book your free online appointment if you want to get a non-binding offer or a product demonstration, for example, for any add-on or RFEM or RSTAP itself. Just click on that link or scan that QR code. You can download the PowerPoint from the website as well. I can show you where you can find the recording and so on and the models. Dlubal.com, and under news and events, you can find the webinars. That's today's webinar. I click on it, or before I click on it, I can present you the webinars, or I can show you the webinars that we present in the next week. An American webinar, response spectrum analysis, then design of FRC, structure elements in concrete design, and the week after next week, automated workflow with JavaScript. So, okay, that's also online, design of solid sections in RFEM 6. Also, you can create solid sections in R section and then transfer them to RFEM 6 or use them in RFEM 6 and can do a concrete design. So, okay, that's today's webinar. In the next days, when the recording is online, you will get an email with a link to that page. You will get your attendee certificate as well. Then you will find the recording here in the middle. There are already the presentation slides, and also the models are there from the German webinar. We present such webinars in German and in English. Okay, that should be all for today. Thank you for your attention. Thanks to Markus for answering the questions. Maybe a last hint or a wish when you leave the webinar, where it's a small survey, it takes you only 1 minute. You can score the webinar. Just note that the worst score is 1 and the best score is 5. You can enter wishes for future webinars and so on. But you don't need to do that. You can leave that field empty if you don't have got a wish for future webinars. Okay, thanks again and bye-bye.